Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 19 of CCFR Radio on the Air. I'm your host, Rod Giltaca. Thanks for joining me again today on the show. We've got an update on the CCFR's case at the Supreme Court of Canada. Also, the CCFR held its 2026 in-person AGM in Mississauga, Ontario, just this past weekend. We had some surprise guests as well as some other great guests that we've had some very interesting conversations with. We've got that for you today. And also a little bit about what's different about the CCFR, certainly at the AGM. National Range Day is coming up as well. The CCFR will be at multiple events over the next few weeks across the country. All that and more. CCFR Radio starts right now.
CCFR Radio on the Air is brought to you by Wild TV Plus, the best hunting, fishing, and outdoor content available anywhere, anytime, on any device. Visit wildtvplus.ca.
All right, we are back, and via the internet, we've got Tracy Wilson of the CCFR. Wilson!
Are you a little hoarse?
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Why would that be, Mr. Giltaca?
Yeah, really, really hoarse. It's been crazy. We did our AGM, which we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds. And then I had this crazy 15-hour travel day to fly from Toronto to Vancouver. And then as soon as I get home, it's TV and podcast week. So here we are.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you had a bad travel experience in Canada? How original.
Yeah, it was weird. I was very shocked. Anyway.
Oh,
okay.
boy.
And I know that you had to hit the ground running as soon as you got home too. So it's been a little insane. All right. We had our in-person AGM in Mississauga, Ontario, just a little ways away from YYZ, the Toronto Pearson Airport. And it was awesome.
Yeah, that's right. We had it in Toronto because it was kind of like a central place, biggest airport. We assumed that meant everybody could get there easily. And I think they did. I guess getting home may have been the problem. But it was wonderful to see everyone. We've struggled to have in-person AGMs over the years for different reasons. Last year, we were kind of, licking our wounds after the election. But it always brings me back to that very first in-person AGM when somebody said to me, it's like all our imaginary friends are real. You're talking to these people, working with them online. And finally, once a year, you gather together. All our staff was there. Everybody was there. It was just absolutely magical. And I'm really glad that we did it.
It was. And I think, I forget, someone said, "Oh, what'd you think?" And I said, "I think this is the best AGM we ever held." The facility was nice. There was probably the most people, like around 175 people there. We had fantastic guests and a great program. We'll talk about that in the next segment. But the room looked beautiful. Our setup was good as usual. We were, I don't know, probably the first nonprofit. I'm going out on a bit of a limb here, but certainly the first gun group to ever live stream our AGM to members. And we did that 11 years ago. So
yeah, well, it cost a lot more money back then. Nowadays it's not so bad. But yeah, to us, it's important. No matter where you are geographically, you should be able to be there. So
yeah,
we've done it every year.
And so we've always been really proud of that because transparency has always been really important. If you're going to give your money to an organization in exchange for hope that they can make a difference or at least do work, then you want questions answered. So we presented our financials. We printed them, put them in a nice book, put them on a table and said, "Hey, anyone that's here at our AGM, if you want to inspect the financials, go ahead and do that. If you want to take pictures of it, go ahead and do that. Or you can write your name on a piece of paper and we will email you a PDF." And then, because we're all about transparency. And I think the thing I'm most proud of is our Ask Me Anything. So whenever we do these live AGMs, and we did it this time as well, you and I sat in front of 170 people and gave them the opportunity in front of everyone to ask any question they wanted, and we would answer it in front of everybody. So really important.
It is important. And that's a lot because sometimes people don't like to talk about things out loud or answer you directly, let alone in front of an audience. And this is an opportunity to come and ask anything you want. Some of the questions were a little uncomfortable, but that's important that our members have that access to us straight to our face and in front of everybody. So yeah, very important.
Yeah. Full accountability. Yeah. And that's what we're all about. And you know, we put our money where our mouths are that way. So I'm really proud of that. And this AMA that we did, the Ask Me Anything, it was really good. We got a lot of good questions, and we had an
Yep.
opportunity to answer them. Okay. So we are out of time, but when we come back, we are going to talk about all the guests and the full program. So stick with us. All right, we are back, and we're going to pick up where we left off with the CCFR's in-person AGM, which was awesome. You know, it's a
Mhm.
lot to plan, and it's a big event, and there's a lot of moving parts, but it turned out beautifully. And I don't usually say that often because I don't really enjoy them because it's a long day. So
It is a long day, but
yeah,
it's important to have that big program where there's all kinds of things going on. It's a business meeting. They ask me anything. We heard from speakers. Like it was great.
it was, and I think everybody had a great
Mhm.
time. Okay. So a couple of we're going to talk
Mhm.
about a couple of guests that did not have a speaking role there, but definitely need to be mentioned. The first is Josh from Dirty Leather, had a little kiosk set up, their little workshop. So tell us about that real quick.
Yeah, that's right. He came and he made custom CCFR belts. You could get your name on them or your nickname or whatever you want, but beautiful leather belts. And he donated a portion of the proceeds back to the CCFR. So this was a huge hit. People were lining up. People liked their belts. So they were lined up for them all day long. It was awesome.
That's awesome. He does beautiful work, and Josh
Yeah.
is really he's really great. I'm glad he was there. We
Yeah.
also had the Chief Firearms Officer of Alberta, Dr. Terry Bryant, there, so it was great to host her. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Evelyn Fox. Why don't you explain who Evelyn Fox is, real quick?
Well, Evelyn Fox lost her son to a shooting outside a nightclub back in 2016. And when I first met her on Twitter, we were on very opposite sides of the debate. And it's funny over the years, talking with her and her having an open mind and an open heart to understand the truth about the gun debate and where the crime guns are coming from. She actually did a complete 180. And so much so that a couple of years ago, I actually took her to the range. So we've become fast friends ever since. She means a lot to me. It was really important for me to have her there. And it's sort of, a testament to the CCFR that you've got a survivor of gun violence at the AGM. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, either something is true or it's not, right?
right. Yeah.
Anyway, so then as far as guests were concerned that we had chats with for all their attendees, the first one was Bob Freeberg, who is the former Chief Firearms Officer of Saskatchewan, former Commissioner of the Saskatchewan Firearms Office, and he was also joined by Blaine Bevan, who is the current Commissioner of the Saskatchewan Firearms Office. And they came to tell us to sit with me on stage and go through the legislation that Saskatchewan has implemented to protect gun owners because it's kind of complicated, and it was really great to get their insights and hear how this whole thing came about and what they're doing, and maybe some suggestions on how other provinces could implement the same thing. And I know that they've done a lot of work on behalf of gun owners, so it was really great to have them there, and they're leading
Yeah.
the way in the country. So that was fantastic. Then you had an opportunity to have a chat with Randall Arsenault.
Yeah, this guy's so cool. I call him the TikTok cop, and I found him during COVID, when everything was shut down. He used to make these awesome videos. He's kind of one of those like community policing experts. He's also a former human rights commissioner. Really, really accomplished guy. But yeah, he came and he's a public safety expert, and he's the one who said it was a testament to the CCFR that we had Evelyn there. And yeah, everyone really liked hearing from him. I was happy he was there.
Yeah, we also had Ryan from Northern Perspective, and Ryan came to to give a speech on his perspective, oddly enough, on being a non-gun owner and how he felt about guns and what the government is doing, and also to deliver grace for our dinner.
Yeah, it was actually kind of an emotional speech. He's very talented communicator, and I was happy to have him there. We missed Tanya; she was under the weather, but yeah, Ryan did a great job, and it was just he had his big cowboy hat on, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And of course, our keynote speaker was Sheila Gunn Reid from Rebel News, and yeah, she delivered a great speech as well.
I could listen to Sheila talk for days, so no secret, she's a very good friend of mine. But actually, Rebel bought an entire table at the AGM. So we ended up with the whole cast of characters. Ezra was there. The whole group was there. So we were full of rebels. It was a lot of fun. They're a hoot. Sheila is just super talented. And yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, we appreciate that support as well. And
Yeah.
we did Field Officer of the Year. So why don't you describe what happened there real quick?
Yeah, this is a big award because it's only for one person over the whole year, but there was no contest. It was 100% Mark LaFond, and he deserved every minute of it. So he got a nice kind of trophy, a little award from us, from the field officer program. And he also got the very first custom belt from Dirty Leather. So that was great. He deserves it. I wish I could give him more, but it is what it is. So thank you, Mark, for everything you do for the CCFR.
Well, you know what he did get is he got like 3 standing ovations because the
Yes,
way
he
that it
did.
was structured,
Yeah.
he kept getting announced over and over again. Everybody was like, "Okay, we'll do it again." So I think he got the most applause of anybody that night.
I think so. I know there's a horrible picture of my face all scrunched up, and someone asked, "What are you doing there?" And I said, "Trying not to cry." So yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah, and then of course, anyone that had been following our AGM, what our plans were, we did the world premiere of the Gunny Girl documentary, and well,
Mhm.
I had some technical issues. I had to keep moving my mouse around to keep it going because I don't know whatever the issue was, but we were able to show it, and I think everyone enjoyed it, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was awesome. Very special.
Yeah. All right, we're out of time. When we come back, we're going to talk about a bunch of events that the CCFR is going to be present on. So stick with us. All right, we are back, and we've got some events, well, tons of events that the CCFR is going to have some presence at. And I think we'll start off with the Outdoor Symposium in Ottawa, which is a really, really interesting event. I was at the last one. I'm not going to be at this one,
Mhm.
but tell us what that's all about.
Yeah, I'm going to actually bring some of the ladies from the women's program, but we're going to be attending the Conservative Hunting and Angling Caucus Outdoor Symposium and Wildlife Garden Party. It all starts on Sunday from 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 on Parliament Hill. And this is cool. You hear from a variety of outdoor presentations, everything from guns. I'm going to speak to that, to fisheries, to the salmon guys from BC, to land access, to snowmobile associations, anything to do with the outdoor lifestyle, they cover it. And then Monday, June 1st at 9 a.m., we have a bear pit on Parliament Hill. And this is cool. This is like fast paced questions with a whole ton of MPs. So we're going to get together there. There'll be some presentations. In the afternoon, after lunch, we're going to head to question period. I don't know why they call it question period. They never answer any, but we're going to go see the live action of that. And then in the evening, we'll wind it up at Stornoway Mansion, which is not a mansion, it's just a house. And we're going to, that's Pierre Poilievre's residence, the official opposition. They serve a full wildlife dinner made by celebrity chefs. There's live music, tons of MPs, senators, all kinds of VIPs, and lots of delicacies to try. So we will be there.
That is awesome. And then, of course, we
Yeah.
have National Range Day coming up, which is the first Saturday in June every year. And
Mhm.
this year we have 38 events happening across the country, and they are all updated. And if you want to find out if there's an event near you, you can go to nationalrangeday.ca. That's nationalrangeday.ca. All the events are in there. There's an interactive map where you can just pinpoint your location and see if there's any events near you. So they're all in there and updated. So that's great. But you've got sort of the flagship event at your range just outside of Ottawa, and that's happening again this year, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So EOSC, Eastern Ontario Shooting Club. I'm so grateful that they always entertain all my crazy ideas. But yeah, I turn it into a literal circus. So we've got the Bouncy Castle Park back again this year. We're doing a big barbecue. We've got a free kids silhouette range. They can come and shoot 22 for free. Everyone can try shotguns, rifles, pistols, and of course, my favorite, the cowboy action guys. They come in full period costume, and it's just a hoot to watch them go. And you can put on a cowboy hat and try it too. So, really looking forward to it. Make sure you talk to your range next year and get them on the board, National Range Day.
That's awesome. Yeah, every year around National Range Day, we end up, we want to go and push it ourselves, but we end up running around like chickens with our heads cut off. And this year, 38
Yes.
ranges decided to do it on their own. Well, I guess 37 and your range, but yeah, it's even
Yeah.
without us actually driving it, it has taken up a life of its own, which is great.
Yeah. And it's a great opportunity to influence somebody's opinions about guns, right? So
Yep. Well, there's no better way to turn someone into gun owner than take them shooting, right? That's what
that's
happened to me.
right.
Uh,
Yep.
Now there is a rally slash what we call it, a town hall in
A town
Sudbury,
hall. Yeah.
Ontario. Yeah. What's the skinny on that?
Well, this is a reschedule for something that we were doing just before the Tumbler Ridge incident, actually. But yeah, I'm headed up to Sudbury in Northern Ontario to go see MP Jim Belanger. Just a great guy, down home guy. Cheryl Gallant will be there as well. She's the MP for Renfrew Nipissing. So yeah, we're going to do a town hall on the gun grab, what it means for the people of Sudbury, and the top secret news is I'm actually going to be drawing for a shotgun. It costs nothing to enter. You just have to show up. I'm going to put everyone's name in a hat. I'm going to draw a name out, and somebody's going to get a shotgun. I'll ship it to them. So
Nice.
should be a lot of fun. You can find all the details on my social media.
Excellent. And
Mhm.
now we're not going to get too into detail because we don't have a lot of time. But we had been talking before about retailers, firearm retailers. They had gotten an email from the assault style firearms compensation or confiscation program that they want to send them a test payment of $2.01 or whatever it was. And then that same the program said, "Oh, don't do this because don't respond because it's a scam to get your banking information." And then they're like, "No, it's not a scam. This is legitimate." And there's been
Yeah.
multiple people we're talking to that say, "Yeah, I called there. They didn't know what I was talking about. Then apparently it was okay again." It's just been a mess.
Yeah, I know there's some information that went out for the by the retailer lobby about this as well, because the people at the program, it's a call center that the liberals have, you know, jobbed out to somebody else. So these people have no idea what they're talking about. So unfortunately, the answers are not consistent. But apparently, I think at the last time that we checked, apparently it is actually real. So I don't know. Call the program and ask them, I guess. That's the best I can say.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to call if you're a retailer and you're watching this. Call the program 1-800 number that you'll find on the website on the Government of Canada's website, and then find out directly from them. So what a mess. Anyway,
It's a mess.
it
Yeah.
is a mess. All right. I think we covered everything. We raced through it. Now I get to rest my voice. You get to rest your voice. And
Yes.
I guess I'll see you in the next one.
All right. We'll see you then.
All right. We are back now. What I've got for you before I let you go is a statement that I read out at the CCFR's annual general meeting, and it has to do with an update of our case heading to the Supreme Court of Canada. So, this is what was prepared by our general counsel, Mike Loberg of Loberg Ector, and here it goes. The CCFR's factum and the joint record must be filed with the Supreme Court of Canada by June 15th. So, that's coming up. Those seeking to intervene in the appeals must file their motions requesting leave within 4 weeks of June 15th. So that's August the 13th. So far, the Royal Canadian Military Institute Pistol Club, long name, they should go by an acronym, I think, has applied for leave to intervene. Saskatchewan and Alberta are interveners as of right in the appeal. So if you're a province, you don't have to apply to intervene. You automatically get in on any Supreme Court case that there is that you're interested in if you're a province. Saskatchewan, Alberta, and this is new, Ontario are intervening on the CCFR's constitutional questions. That means specifically those three provinces, and Ontario is the new one, are lining up behind the CCFR because they think they think that our case is important and they're in favor of our case. Kind of cool, right? We'll see if that makes a difference. Canada must file its responding materials by September the 11th, or September 10th. So that means the government has to file its case. And there's a technical thing. I'm going to read it. I don't really understand it, but it says, if Canada, meaning the government, seeks to uphold the Federal Court of Appeals judgment on a ground not mentioned by that court, the appellants can file a factum in reply around September the 24th. I don't know. I think what that means is if the government is filing something that we haven't seen yet, we can reply to them, respond to it for the Supreme Court. Anyway, here's the important part. Available hearing dates depend on factors such as the court's calendar, case complexity, the number of interveners, and the backlog for a given term. At present, the hearing is estimated to occur between January and March 2027. So the CCFR will have filed a copy of its factum available by June 15th or soon thereafter. Also, the court will publish a copy on its website, accessible by searching the file number 41859. So what that means is two things. Number one, it looks like our court date will be somewhere, this is just estimated, between January and March of 2027. The amnesty will be long expired by that time. So just so you know, I probably have said it before, I've already instructed our law firm and our general counsel, Mike Loberg of Loberg Ector in Calgary, to file for what we would call an injunction application with the Supreme Court. It's not called that at the Supreme Court, but anyway, that's what I know it as. I'm not a lawyer. So basically, we're asking the court, hey, can you tell the government to extend the amnesty from October the 30th to, let's say, I don't know, to next April, because this is a case that is going to set precedent whether we win or lose. And it's really important that you not make criminals out of good law-abiding Canadians. You've waited 6.5 years to roll this program out and extended the amnesty the whole way. Another 6 months isn't going to kill you. So anyway, hopefully the government will treat all of us fairly, because licensed gun owners are the law-abiding citizens in this country, right? If you, by definition. So hopefully we won't have to force them to do that or put up that big of a fight. So anyway, there you go. That's your Supreme Court update. Anyway, we are out of time for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Thanks for watching. Tell other people about the show. Check out the CCFR at ccfr.ca. Thanks again. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.